Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Merry New Year.
Happy New Year. Merry New Year. Mark quizzed us yesterday on what movie that's from, and nobody got it.
Merry New Year.
Are you kidding me?
Know that.
Yeah.
Trading Places.
Trading Places. Nobody got it.
Whoa. Just
all
like
of you
that?
suck.
And we do all
Just like
suck.
that?
We all suck. You're right.
That's pretty good.
Merry New Year. Come on, that's classic.
Yeah, I mean, I was like 4 when that movie came out, so it's
it doesn't matter. And that's one of those movies, by the way, that everyone has seen on TBS on like a Sunday afternoon, and then you actually go watch like the regular version, and you're like, oh my god, that's so much better. Like Animal House.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Animal House on like TBS, and you're like, yeah, it's pretty funny, and then you go watch like the actual movie, and you're like, oh my god.
You go watch the NC-17 version; it's a little different.
Exactly. Yes.
So what's going on, Land Geek Nation? For those of you who've never watched before,
oh my god,
we are the Land Geek guys. Scott Bossman, Matthew, Fortune 500 Forbes, Mike the Zen Master Zano.
Such a good nickname, by the way.
Mm.
It's not as good as Proxy, but it's not
good. We could call you Matt Foxy Proxy Forbes. I like that.
We're gonna need a new.
Yeah.
No. We're gonna need a new little whisper for 2021. We gotta replace Foxy Proxy with something. We gotta find that.
We do?
I don't know.
I love it. I love it because it's outdated and makes no sense. So I love saying it.
All right, we'll stick with
rhymes.
it then. It survives. Another you do here. 2021. Foxy Proxy.
That's it.
So, fellas, how is it going? How's Land so far? 2021.
It's moving.
Good. A couple
moving
sales
and shaking. I think off to a good start. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, we had a good start this week, which is encouraging. So, hoping to continue this. If we continue this trend, I'm going to be really happy with the year. So let's do it.
He says on January 7th.
Yeah, exactly.
My 12 and 14-year-old sold their first property.
Hey!
Kind of fun.
Walk us through that. So did they pick the area? How did this all play out?
No, we bought like a crap ton of property in one area, and they were like, when we do that, we're like, yeah, sure. So they have green light, which if you have young kids, is like it ends up being like a bank account and a credit card that you control. That's all tied. So I was totally against it, and then I learned about it, and I was like, okay, this is a good idea. So they bought the property, and then my wife's sister is our sales assistant, and she found a guy, and I mean, they didn't do anything. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right? We just gave.
They have been inspired.
Yes, they're like, because my son was like, okay, I gave you $1,000, and you just deposited $4,000 in my bank account. And I'm like, yep.
Do this again.
Yeah. I'm like, yep. And you now owe me $800 in taxes.
Right.
The government will now thief your money, and you owe your brother $1,000 because you loaned him money to go do this. And my son's like, oh, okay. Well, then I need to buy another property. I'm like, all right. Double his money. I mean, 2 kids made $1,000 each. So
hey, that's all good.
My wife like, why are we not taking this money right now?
A lot of life lessons in that one transaction, huh? For the boy.
We'll see. We'll see if it has the effect we want it to have, or did I just urinate away $4,000? I can't decide. We'll find out. Stay tuned next week.
Stay tuned, everyone. So drop in the chat how your business is going this year. Say hello if you're new. Nathan Mason said it's his first time tuning in from Jackson, Mississippi. Nathan, welcome. Throw up in the comments how you found us, how you found the Land Geek or Mark Podolsky. I think we all found him. Most of us find him on a podcast, although now, more than ever, people are finding him through his book, Dirt Rich, finding us online with YouTube searches and that type of thing. So, pretty cool stuff. Paul Bellotti says, Happy New Year, long time. I've been so busy with machines for the vaccine production, even through the holidays. Great to see you. Well, thank you, Paul, for being busy with machines for the vaccine production. I can't wait to get mine, honestly. So, another first-time viewer tuning in from Albuquerque, Miriam. She says she read the book. So, welcome, Miriam.
No way.
That's pretty awesome.
That's kind of fun.
For those people that are here tonight who are new, please ask any questions about land investing. That's why we're here. We like to sit down and have a drink and talk land. So
Drinks. We're drinking?
well, yeah, I started with
That
some
looks
bourbon.
like, Guinness.
No, it's my favorite espresso milk stout from the Surly Brewing Company in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Literally, how in God's green earth do you drink espresso stout at 1 a.m. on nightcap and then go to bed? How is this possible? How do you?
I'm so tired today. It's not going to
Skillful
matter.
drinker.
I'm telling you.
Oh my
Skillful
God!
drinker.
No, fail. Can't do it.
I get a I don't know. You like Pete? I get a belt. So another land investor who knows me so well sent me a nice, beautiful Pete week. I like it, Petey. Don't you like it, Petey? Boston, you like it, Petey?
Yeah.
I like
Sounds
this.
like a no.
Here comes the magic marker smell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's the magic marker. It's like sniffing a magic. I shouldn't advocate that. And here,
It's right when my kids are like, "Are you drinking rubbing alcohol?" I'm like, "Yes. Leave Daddy alone."
Oh, awesome. Well, cheers to you, fellas. Happy New Year. Glad to be back for more nightcap excitement.
Woohoo!
As always, post your questions, post your wins. A lot of us haven't had a good start to the year, which is fun. And then we have some topics that we brought along as well to keep the conversation going.
All right. What do we got?
So the first thing we need to talk about is the ever exciting Land Geek Boot Camp, which is
when's that?
coming up January 22nd through the 24th. And
that's
we
just a
all
couple
love
weeks away.
us three. We all of us love boot camp. I mean, boot camp is where some pretty amazing magic happens. You learn a ton. You meet you get to meet Scott Todd and Mark Podolsky and the other Land Geek coaches like Tate and Eric and Taria. And, you get to meet seasoned land investors like Matt Forbes, Mike Zano, and,
Scott Bossman.
we get and a lot of and the great thing is when we do this in real time, right? We've had to do it on Zoom the last few times. People keep coming back because they make a connection, and you also get something new at every boot camp you go to help you with your business. So for those of you interested in our boot camp, it's January 22nd through the 24th, and your price of admission, so to speak, is the Land Geek Investor Toolkit.
Right.
So if you're curious about that, you can drop me or Mike a line, hit us up in the Facebook group. We'll put our emails up here as well. But anyway, enough rambling on my part. Mike Zano, you love boot camp.
Ramble on.
Talk a little bit about boot camp and why you think it's special.
I always, first and foremost, I always default to the Grow the Geeks. I think that it's such an inspiring, it's very inspiring to hear other people's stories. I mean, we talk about it all the time here on the Nightcap, but then you just get some other people in there that, just working the way through it. They're doing the daily grind, the struggle, they're overcoming, they're succeeding, and you get to hear their story. And you get to ask them questions, and that can resonate with somebody. That can literally change the course of someone's life. I know, Matt, you've done the Grow the Geeks, and being up there and being honest and transparent, I think it allows somebody else to see, it's not easy, but it's something I can do, and I'm going to give it a shot. I think it's inspiring. I think you can it literally does change people's lives to attend that part of it. So that's just one small part of the boot camp, but I always love to point that out. That's just an amazing, amazing part of it. We do that 2 separate days. 2 separate days we'll do that.
Matt Forbes, you love boot camp.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I've been to 7 of them in person. Yeah, they're good. You learn. You get what you need. If you're brand new, what you need is everything, and you get everything, and that's brutal. And then after that, you still learn a ton, and you just network with people, and you form the relationships that you need, right? I can't say enough good things about boot camp. People think I'm crazy because I'm like, I'm going to my land thing, and they're like, why? You've been to 5, you've been to 6, you've now been to 7. Like, why would you go? Like, why not? Go hang out with people. This is back when we did them in person, but go hang out with a bunch of people who believe what I believe, who are succeeding, who can give me tips, who we can commiserate with. We can find new ideas and business partners and, people to lend me money. Like, you should go to boot camp. You're nuts not to.
Yeah. And even in, it may not be as simple online to sort of network, but you can do that. You can still reach out, get to know people. I think that is a huge part. I mean, the community at large, this is just a sort of a microcosm for the community when we go to the boot camp, but it's just such a wide range, diverse group of people that come to it from a different set of, I don't know, wherever they are in life. Some people have lots of capital. Some people have lots of drive, and they can work together, and so you can really get together and help each other in that regard. But that's just one aspect of it. What I was talking about, I mean, the other one I love, Mark's wealth mindset. He does this whole segment on a wealth mindset. I listen to that every time, and I truly get inspired every time I hear that. So there's just continual segments, and you get a front row when you're online for every single one of them.
Yeah, they're good. They're definitely good. If you've been doing this for a while too, don't think that like you're too good for it either, right? You end up sitting through a lot of that stuff, especially like in the VIP room and things like that, where, I mean, I've heard Scott Todd give the same presentation, and I don't think, they rotate them a lot more than they used to, but I heard him give the same presentation literally 4 times. And every single time I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right, I've heard this, here we go. And every time I'm like, my mind is blown. I didn't look at it like that. I didn't realize this. I've done that exercise. I continue to do it. You always get more out of these. You're just not like ready to hear it, right? I wasn't ready to hear it in the first 6 boot camps, but in the 7th one, I got it. Like, that's what you get by going to these things. So I encourage people who have been to them to go back if you can swing it, if you've got the time. You end up learning new stuff. Like, I went through flight school, and I went back and I listened to flight school like probably 2 years after I had completed it. And I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I mean, at one point I was looking for a yield calculator, and I tried to build a yield calculator in Excel and failed for like a month. And I love Excel. I'm really good at Excel. And I was like, I was never trusting that it was right. And somebody was like, I asked on Nightcap, like, does anybody have one? And somebody, I don't know if it was Jen or
Jen Ramquist.
Like, yeah, it was totally Jen Ramquist. She's like, yeah, let me send you the one that Scott hands out in flight school. I'm like, son of a bitch. I've had it the whole time. I just didn't even know it.
Yeah, that's good stuff, isn't it? I mean, there's so much in this business, you can't pick it all up the first time. You have to revisit things over and over and over again. I still learn new things all the time. We all do. It's but that's how it is with anything. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's like traveling around in this sort of a wheel. Yeah. And every deal takes you through that process over and over again. But you get better every time. Because you can hack your way through a deal, no doubt, easily. But then you want to start doing multiple deals, and you want to build some finesse, and that just comes with that rotation of going through every deal. That's truly why the deal flow does solve everything, is because it brings you through every aspect of the business over and over, and you're forced to refine it. It's something, if you don't, then you just keep struggling and doing it. But if you choose to actually learn and refine from it, refine it from what your experiences are, then you will get better, and it'll become more efficient for you, and you can do more deals.
Yep.
Awesome. There's 2 things I love about boot camp that we haven't talked about. One is we have all walks of life at boot camp, and going to boot camp 5 years ago, my first time, I was a little intimidated because I'm a healthcare guy. I mean, at that time, I didn't have an ounce of business or real estate in my body, and I was nervous walking in there. But what was really cool was I got in there, and the guy across from me is a dentist, Bob Demick, right? And the guy in front of me is a realtor from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and he and I know mutual people. And, there's doctors, teachers in the room. It was just really, really rewarding because all these people are coming together looking for something outside their current realm. And that's something, the common theme is passive income. We all want passive income. So let's learn how to do it. And it just turns out land is probably one of the easiest ways you can do it out there. It's probably, and we'll get into this a little bit later, it's probably the easiest way to get into passive income for very little money, and also very little time to start. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is I love the boot camp magic. Every time we go to boot camp, people are doing deals throughout the day, and we hear about their deals. Mike Zato, you did a deal this morning? Tell us about your deal. Matt Forbes, you did a deal? Tell us about your deal. And we hear about those deals throughout the weekend. And it just proves to everybody in the room, the 100 people in the room, that this is being done in real time. This is the real thing. What Mark Podolsky stumbled upon 20 years ago and now has taught to all of us is life-changing. And it happens in real time. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a great point.
We got some comments. Laura Zano's watching. She says, Forbes, she loves your rent due sign in the back there.
I don't know who bought that for me, but whoever that guy was wicked smart.
Wicked
I
smart.
love that sign. I talk about that in most work calls now because people look at it and they're like, is that the Monopoly guy? And I'm like, yep, it's actually like 5 feet tall. But yeah, there in the back there. Success is never owned. It's only rented, and the rent is due every day. I love it.
Every day. I love it.
I love it. Now go make a cold call. Oh, wait, I meant go buy land. Sorry. I got confused.
Yeah. Wrong profession.
That's right.
Awesome. Cool. So I think we covered boot camp. Like I said, if you're interested, it's not too late. Reach out with questions, and we can get you there on January 22nd. Nathan Mason says he found us on a podcast. He hears a lot about real estate and not enough about land, and he's excited to learn more.
Awesome. Welcome, Nathan.
Miriam is another new watcha tonight. So she has two questions. Where do your marketing lists? I'm wondering, Miriam, if you could clarify that first question. I'm not sure if you're asking where do you market the land, or where do you find the list for land, because we target people by mailing. And then secondly, this is a good question. What software do you use to comp land? So this is kind of interesting because some people think you need software to comp land. We can talk about that. How do we find comps, and do you need software to do it? Zano?
No, there's no software running calculations for me. I think it's important to intimately know the areas you work in, right? So part of learning how to mail an area is learning all about the pricing and all of that. So the comps starts right at the beginning, phase 1, county research, and you're building your comp analysis at that point.
Is that one word?
I think so.
Comp analysis.
No, it's
survey
2 words.
says
Comp analysis.
That's definitely not a word. Sorry.
No, I didn't say comp analysis. I meant comp analysis.
I like comp analysis. I like that.
Oh my God.
All right, that's the new word for land investing, comp analysis.
Comp analysis.
Full.com.
Foxy proxy. So it actually starts right at the very beginning. When you're researching your area, where you're going to go, what you're going to, where you're going to invest, you're building comps there. I think that's exciting. I actually enjoy doing the pricing on my properties because I have fun at that point with the yield calculator, with comps that are out there. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I know, Matt. We talk about this yield calculator over and over. But I literally get super stoked and excited when I get to look at the yield calculator. I'm putting together the pricing. I mean, the yield calculator comes in, again, part of the pricing is when I buy the property, how much am I going to pay for it? Because I have to know what am I going to list it for? And is that going to be a good use of my money? So it all kind of plays in. So the pricing, the software is my brain right now because I know the areas I work, and that's part of My team does the intake, but I do make the final decision at this point. I haven't graduated. The next step will be what Scott Todd does, and I love it. His team is intimately aware of the yield calculations, and they know
Yep.
this is the price. And so I love how Scott literally doesn't waver. Like if it's a penny over, I'm pretty sure he's like, no, this is what I'm offering you, and I'm a little bit more flexible. I don't know what you guys like. I'm working with people. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't cut them off right at but Scott, boom. I offered you 1200, 1201. No.
Nope.
It's 1200. So anyways, again, the comp analysis starts at the beginning. The software, no, I'll look at websites. I'll look at other land sites, Landmodo, depending where it is. I might use a little bit of Zillow, depending where the property is. But you need to these are things you need to know. Like you need to not be, but become the expert in the areas you work. So it means you need to know intimately the pricing. And this can be confusing too, because sometimes you could look at Zillow, like there's some areas let's take a Costilla, Colorado. There's areas where people could go on Zillow and look and say, well, geez, I could buy this 5-acre property for, $3,000, a little bit under. And I know that sometimes people wholesale properties out there for like 2,500. But guess what? On terms, they do sell. So Zillow doesn't always comp out the way that, so you have to know the different platforms. So anyway, it's kind of an in-depth process. It's something you familiarize yourself with as you begin. Again, this is why we hyper focus on areas, right? Because if you're jumping from this subdivision to that county to this county, you're not going to be really good or not really going to be an expert at pricing those areas. It's too big, too vast. You have to really dial in. So that's a big way to say no software for me.
No software is needed. I think there are a couple things out there floating around regarding.
Yeah, I've seen a couple, I think, but I don't.
But really, I mean, why pay? Who knows how much it is? Why pay $50 a month for this software?
Well, they're going to go in and they're going to pull stuff, Scott, right? They're going to pull these comps. And how do you know the comp? Like, you have to know our business intimately, right?
Yeah.
They could pull comps that really don't relate, and then now you're skewing your pricing, and you're all screwed up. I don't like that.
Those comps are all wrong.
Yes.
Because they're looking at solds, and the solds aren't going to have the notes.
Boom.
Because the notes haven't sold yet.
Right.
I hold the note
process.
until the guy pays it off, which means by the time Zillow picks up that it's sold for $5,000, Zillow doesn't realize I sold it 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's all out of date. Like that stuff in this particular niche, I don't think that those programs work at all, nor do I think it's overly hard to go comp properties in what we do. It's a very straightforward formula. You just need to go and execute on it. And you're buying stuff so cheap, it's okay. You go buy something at 75% off, like it's all right if you mess it up a little bit. We're not buying retail, so just go do it.
You remind me when you say that. I've talked to some people that maybe they come from an engineering background or some sort of something similar, but when they go to price lists and build lists, they pull all this information and that's just like, whoa. You ever seen anybody do that? I know you guys have. Like, it's like, oh yeah, they got like 50 points of data, and it's like they add it all into this matrix, and it's like, whoa. That's all well and good, but really,
that's how you buy one property. If you want to go buy that property right there, that one tiny one, that's what you can go do to make sure that you've got the best price you can get.
Right.
But I don't buy one property at a time. I send out mailers by the thousands. So I can't sit around and go do all that. It would take the rest of my life. Like not for what we do, not this niche of terms, not like that. Just go do it.
Awesome. So Miriam, here's my recommendation. You're new to this. Go to landmodo.com and see where other land investors are doing deals, see what they're listing their properties for, and see what type of land is being listed. You're going to get an idea of where a ton of land investors are working. A lot of land geeks are working, and it's going to be a good start for you.
I just thought it was a segment.
What's that? A new segment?
Well, wait. It'll be a little like remember Deep Thoughts with is it Jim Handy?
Jack Handy. Jack
Jack
Handy.
Jack Handy.
Yeah, so we could have something similar with my new book I got for Christmas.
All right. Well, I'm bringing a segment back here in a little bit as well. So
You need to stop whipping cards around. Come on, I love that.
yeah, when I used to throw them like David Letterman.
Yeah, like that
Yeah.
is.
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah, I like that.
Guess who else is watching? He was on our show. Maximiliano Lemura.
Hey, how's it going, man?
What's up, Max? So Max has a comment. He started a year ago, dude. A year ago right now in
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
And he has a question. Now, if you remember, guys, we had him on a couple months ago, and it was like on the fly because he was commenting and talking about the success he had, and we're like, let's get him on, and we got him on. It was pretty cool. He was talking about all his deals he did, and I think Max did it with the toolkit, which is pretty awesome. So he has a question. Yep. 2020 went well. I'm curious, what are your opinions on how to take the business to the next level? Is it just he's getting at, is it just a matter of rinsing and repeating, or like how do you take it to the next level? How do you go from grossing 6 figures to 7?
It's not rinse and repeat, really. It is, but I'll say this: like, you could get up and do the same thing. You could go. I don't know. I think you got to mix it up. Like, you could go to the gym and start do this routine, and you can maintain yourself, right? And you could speak to this, Scott, as a physical therapist with your background. But if you want to grow, I think you need to sort of alter that routine, right? And progressively overload and things of that nature, right? So it is rinse, repeat in a certain sense, but I think the only way to really grow this business, and that is to really build it so it can be scaled, right? So flight school does give you that model. That's one thing that anybody who's been through flight school can take advantage of. Go back and watch those classes over and over, because what you're watching is an actual structure that can be scaled. That's how Scott Todd is crushing the business, because he built it in a way that it can handle volume. So the only way to really grow is to pull yourself out of the equation. The only way to do that is to build processes and systems. I would encourage you, I don't know if he's been through flight school, if he has, to basically go back and review those classes. They're gold. If you haven't been through it, Max, it doesn't matter how many deals you've done. We've had people go through there to selling 4 properties a month or more, and they go through flight school and they're blown away because it allows them to have a way to grow and scale. So also take a look at what Scott has produced now, which I'm infatuated with. Scott has produced Process Moto. It's a way to really help you think deeply about your business, and it's not an overnight process. You really you have to map it out and use this software to build your process. Then you go back and refine, but that's how you're going to get good. This is a refining process. So it is rinse and repeat, but you know what I'm saying, Scott? You can speak to that. Like, if you go to the gym every day and you do your push-up and whatever, but if you want to grow, don't you have to? Yeah. Maybe I'm off the market. Progressively overload yourself or something. Like, add, if you do something to shock the body a little bit and get some growth.
Yeah, you gotta overload. You gotta cross train. You definitely can't go to the gym every day and do the same thing. So everything you said is
that.
Everything.
Cross train.
Yeah,
cross training in our business. Do some wholesale deals. Do some land up. Like, look at this other things you can approach. Go buy a dolphin. Go buy a whale if you got the money. You can do a lot of things in this business and cross.
Did you just say buy a whale?
Yeah,
minnows, dolphins, and whales.
Minnows, dolphins, and whales. Minnows are the bread and butter $1,000 deals. Dolphins are like $5,000. Approaching some title. Dolphin. I mean, a whale is like a $25,000. It's not a whale when it comes to like traditional real estate, but in our micro environment, it's a whale. So it's a pseudo whale.
Okay, so it's a terms whale. If you guys remember, he was doing. If I've got this right, I remember that podcast. So Max, if I'm wrong about this, whatever. Sorry. But usually that next level is you stop doing the business, right? Yeah. And you outsource the business. That's really the trick. right? Anybody can go and spend all their time in the world doing this and be successful. Like, it's an easy formula. You just got to go execute and not quit, and you'll get there, right? But there's a lot of art form in outsourcing the business so that you're not the one doing it and it's still going. And that's, once you've got the business down and you know what you're doing, for me, that was the next step, right? Once it proved to be successful and I could do it repeatably, then I had to go outsource it. I thought getting the whole business up and going and having me run it was the hard part. It turns out I think outsourcing it is much harder. So I don't know if that's where you're at.
Promote yourself to a manager.
Yeah, you got to get out of the business, because eventually, by the way, you do. I think for most people, you get a little burned out, right? It's hard. I mean, go manage 100 notes. It's hard. It's a lot, right? I mean, you can do it yourself, but the idea is you're not trading one job for another. The idea is you create a company that goes out and does this. And if the company rinses and repeats, that's fine. If all you do is hit base hits, that's fine. No worries, right? You'll get the occasion. And then that allows you to go whale hunting, as Zeno said.
Whale hunting.
Whale. Foxy proxy whales.
Proxy whale.
So he has kind of a follow-up question, and then we'll go on to our next topic. But he says, I guess I'm wondering if you guys started dealing with higher value properties. So as you go on, do you deal with higher value properties, or do you keep the bread and butter properties?
Both.
I mean, it's both, but this minnows, dolphins, and whales thing that Zeno talks about is really true. We buy a ton of minnows. Like, why do we buy those minnows? Because they're fast. They move fast. They sell in 30 to 60 days. I'm going to take $10,000 and buy 10 $1,000 properties, and they're going to sell in 30 to 60 days. Now, every once in a while, you're going to come across an opportunity where you're going to buy a property for $3,000 to $6,000, $7,000, somewhere around there. But you need to step into those knowing that they're going to take a little bit longer to sell. It's hard to find a buyer. Now, and we do those deals. And then every once in a while, Zeno, you could probably test this, like once a year, there comes a whale, right? It presents to you, it just it's the universe action, Matt Forbes, I don't know, it comes to you because you're diligent in the business, you're consistent with your mailing, you're consistent with property acquisition, and you come across different opportunities where you might be able to purchase a whale, and that thing is valuable. Like, that now you may need to outlay 20 to 30 grand into this deal, but that in a year or two, you're going to make some good money on it. But then you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons of that as well. Yeah. So I think Max, you have to remember one more thing. You have to remember Scott Todd. His average purchase price in this business is $1,900. He's been doing it 6 years. He's crushing it, as Mike Zano says, and we won't even. You guys can guess what his passive income is in the comments.
Stupid.
The other thing, Scott, I was going to say is that it's not just buying larger price. It's buying, like, you could have an opportunity to buy 30, 50, 100 properties, and having the confidence to pull that trigger, right?
Right.
That comes through the rinse, repeat, and doing deals, and all of a sudden you're presented. Look, we can always do the takedown, but I don't think you truly control the property with a takedown. You've seen this in our community where you think you have a control, and then somebody steps in, because what are you going to do? You're not going to go legal action after somebody if they sell to somebody else. I mean, the only way to really control that is to take the deal and buy it. So as you increase your ability to raise funds, or you have the funding and you have the confidence, you might just, you won't get nervous when it comes time to buy 30 properties, because that's when you really make money, because you can get a really good purchase price, 30, 40, 50, 100 properties at a time. And that's another way. And so there's still those little minnows, but it's a big bulk purchase, and you got to really have the confidence to pull that trigger.
Yeah. I mean, those singles pay the bills.
Yeah.
And they pay a hell of a lot more than the bills, man. I mean, that's the business right there. And once you have that done, once other people are doing that for you, that frees you up. You'll always get people who are like, yeah, I know you wanted to buy my $900 property, but I have this other one for 45. And when you're first in the business, you get all happy eyes and you start trying to take that 45 down and you spend all your time there, and then the business doesn't really go because you're split focus. So you got to go get your base places where you work, right? And get systems and get VAs and get everything you need to do so the system is just running. The company is running on these, they're really good margin deals, but the dollar figure is sort of low. But they're paying the bills, and you get to quit your job, and you get, all passive income and all this wonderful stuff. And then that deal comes around. We were like, oh, I got this other one for 50 grand. You're like, I have time. Let me go take a look. I now know a lot. I have a lot of friends. I could take this down 9 different ways. Do I want to? Yeah, I want to go spend the time. Great. And you're not stopping the show because you're losing focus.
I like it.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. All right. Sweet. Darren Nichols is watching. And Darren, who just went through flight school, where did it go? Oh, he said starting out good this year, sold a terms deal this week. So, Darren, that's awesome. Matt Forbes wants to know your numbers.
Thank you. Put the numbers in. This is your time to be like, look, dear mom, look what I did. Give me the numbers, man. Come on, baby.
Come on, Darren Nichols. Give us the numbers. Brian Adler is watching. Brian, you're fairly new to the community, I think. Great information, guys. Thanks for the info. How often and at what times do you buy from wholesalers? That's a good question. Zeno, you don't.
I typically sell. So,
skipping you.
So I guess, but I think it's all part of a strategy. There's a lot of strategies out there, and one of them is to buy wholesale. One of them now that's surfaced over the last couple of years is to land arb, right? That's relatively new, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's a wholesale deal could make sense for many reasons at many points in the business, but one could be you just want to. One, you could be brand new and you just want to get a deal to try out. 2, you could been doing the business for a while and you want to try a new area, and now you don't. You pay more for the wholesale, but if you're not mailing, 300, 400, 500 letters to get that deal, think about it. You can afford to pay that much more for that property, right? And use it. So I think it can be used in the right place at the right time, masterfully. Masterfully?
Masterfully.
Right? Yeah. I mean, because you need inventory. Here's the thing.
The
business doesn't go that well if you have a couple of properties to sell.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's really, really tough. Like, you need a certain volume of property to really get the engine going. And if you can't go get mailing's not going well, or whatever, you can instantly go buy property. So if you're selling a lot of cash and I just want to get going, that's a great way to go. Lots of people will sell you stuff. Are you paying more for it? Yes, you are. Are you not mailing? Yes, you are. So you're saving money on mailing. I mean, it definitely costs you more in net for sure, but mailing can take months and months and months to get everything going. I could go buy 10 trees right now, but I bet I could sell in the next 60 days if I had the cash to do it. Right. So,
where's the feedback coming from?
I don't know. Things are jumpy. People are cutting out.
Do you hear that, Matt?
I don't know.
You hear feedback? Does anybody else hear feedback? Chris Egner's watching. Do you hear feedback? Chris Egner says he's not okay calling Matt Forbes mommy. I don't really know where that came from, Chris Egner.
I don't know either.
That's funny. But I don't know where that came from.
I would also prefer it if you didn't call me mommy. Sure.
I prefer if you did call him mummy.
I think we agree. I knew Zeno was going to say that.
I mean,
think we're on the same page.
I would definitely call you daddy. So
I get that a lot.
Darren Nichols says bought wholesale for $4K. All right, so he bought wholesale for $4K, sold for $10,400. Is that on terms, Darren?
Chicken dinner?
Sounds like it might be on terms. Not as high as you'd like, but decent on wholesale. Oh, tell mommy your numbers, he said. You must have said that earlier. Did you say that earlier, Forbes?
Maybe.
If so, I missed it.
Forbes
Oh
just-
yeah, no,
Forbes
like
just
well,
yells
no,
things
that
out.
was not that we're your mommy, but like you write home to mom, like, hey, this is what I did. Like, be proud of yourself.
I missed it. Chris Egner, he's a sharp man. That Chris Egner.
Buying for 4, selling for 10. I mean,
Speaking of,
who wants a piece of that? You gotta be kidding me. That's awesome.
yeah, it is awesome.
This is where like people are like, oh, I don't know. It sounds like a 250% return. Like we could have done better. Blah blah blah. You're like, dude, you just took $4,000 and converted it into $10,000. How many times do you need to do that before you don't have to go back to work?
Right.
Like that's awesome. Like that's a good win. Now go do it again. That's great.
It's an awesome win, Darren. Congrats.
You got me thinking about, remember the song, Hello Mata, Hello Fada,
Oh,
Here
God.
I
Oh, yeah.
am at Camp Granada.
Would
Yeah,
be like
we-
that if Mike didn't sing.
Oh, man.
Awesome. Nick Colsabos is watching. Nick, how is it going?
We haven't heard from Nick in a long time.
Yeah, we met Nick in
Vegas.
Arizona, I think, at boot camp.
I
So
thought it might have been.
he's been to a couple though. He's been to a couple. So Nick, welcome, Happy New Year. He has a question. This is okay. Interesting. How many years do you prefer the property owner have held the property before you market to them? So, I don't think it matters.
I thought he was going to say
me
before we
too.
buy with no problem with title or something, but I kind of got lost there.
No, it's like, do you market to people who just bought the property, or do you have some way to tell that it's been 5 years or 10 years or 20 years?
Yeah.
You know, this is about sending out offer letters. I'll tell you
Oh,
personally,
I see.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
And it's not that I don't care. Does somebody who just bought the property for $20,000, are they going to sell it to me for $5,000? No, they're probably not. But is it going to take me like 15 or 40 hours to scrub them out of my list? Yes, they are. So
Yeah.
guess what? They're getting a letter,
Yeah.
and that's okay because the mailing comes back at 3 to 5% like clockwork, right? If you're doing it right. So there is some mailing to people that you probably could pull out, but the time it takes to pull them out makes it not a good investment.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Tancha Hokinson, nice to see you here. Go Packers. Tancha says we had a fun win. Bought a 10-acre property. Now this is cool. This stuff's cool, right? Bought a 10-acre property in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, right
With-
next to mine, clearly.
Yeah. With a 45-degree slope,
Holy shnikes.
not on a road, for $500.
Okay.
That's 10 football fields of land
On a slope.
for $500. So what? It's not a
Yeah.
slope. They sold it around Christmas time for $7,945 on terms.
Love it. That's awesome.
How much they buy it for?
$500, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they basically just turned nothing into $7,000. And what's the monthly on it?
What is the
Right.
monthly, Tancha? And
Yeah.
why did the person want that property? I want to hear.
Yeah. Because they took $500, so they made their money back in about 8 seconds
Yeah.
once it was sold. But what they did is they took $500, and I imagine they turned it into half a car payment for the
Yeah.
next 5 years.
Yeah.
I bet that's what happened. I bet it's $160 a month for whatever, 3 years or 4 years or whatever that number ends up being. That's awesome.
That's amazing. Good for you. Again, there's a pig for every barn. That's not a derogatory saying. There is a buyer for every piece of land out there. I just had a conversation with somebody about this today. They couldn't conceptualize why we buy desert land, why we buy land on an incline, why we buy swamp land. Scott Todd bought a swamp and sold it to a dune buggy guy. If you buy it at 25 cents on the dollar, you're not going to lose money. So that's pretty awesome. Zeno, that's almost as good as that one deal you had last year.
We had. Don't pin it on me alone. That was probably the best ROI ever. Was it 100 to? How do you calculate that? I don't even want to say it. We can't say it.
It's embarrassing.
We won't say it.
She says, we have no clue why they wanted it, but they went out to visit it, called from the property to claim it, $132 a month for 60 months.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable. That just proves you don't know why people buy this stuff. Truly. They went out. They have very clear intent as to why they want that property. They know. And here's the best part. You don't really need to know.
Yeah, you don't need to know.
In the beginning, you're going to want to know because you're not going to believe it. Right? But I mean, I have sold the dumbest property in the world over and over and over again. I don't understand why people go there. You barely can get there. If your car were to break down, you would die. No one would find you. You would be dead. No cell service. You're going to die out there. People buy it all the time. And I've stopped questioning it. It's just a question of like, hey, what do you want to do? They're like, are you sure? Like, you drive to the end of the world, take a left. Then you drive for another 90 minutes. That's where this property is. And people go, yep, that's what I want. I go, great. Sign on the line that is dotted. And in 60 months, it's yours. And that's the end.
Well, they look at, even this incident that we were just talking about, that what are they paying, $130 a month? Whatever. They're controlling this 10 acres, whatever it is, for a ridiculous small payment, right? So it's nothing. They're super stoked as the buyer to be able to, for $100 control a property of that size per month. Come on, you spend more money in a week on coffee probably. Jeez.
Yeah. And
Tancha, how much down did you get, and was there a doc fee? I'm thinking you got your money. You're getting your money out in 2 months. I mean, what's your rate of return on that? Is insane.
If it's a $249 doc fee and they got at least 1 month down,
yeah.
I mean, that's
pretty awesome stuff. Cool. And here's to the Hokinsons. I mean, I'm hoping for a big 2021 for you guys. You guys had a huge 2020. Who would have thought, joining flight school last March, that you'd have like over 50 sales in 2020? That's
crazy. It's
insane. I'm excited for you guys. We're glad you're part of the community. Congrats. Small amount down, $300 doc fee. So you're getting your money out next month. You'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll survive. $300 doc fee.
The money was out right away. You said they bought it for $500, and
they bought it for $500
down and a $300 doc. It's already infinite return.
Yeah,
that's
good stuff.
That's really good. I'm glad that you guys bought that. I think most people would pass out of fear, right?
Yeah,
because it's on such a slope, and no one would. I'd never be able to sell that, and blah blah blah. I wonder how many land investors looked at that property. I wonder how many times that person has gotten a letter, lifetime, and said, "Yeah, I'd love to sell," and somebody's like, "Oh, I don't know." Wonder.
Yeah, I wonder. Wonder who doo doo doo.
And singing is back.
With 10 minutes to the hour, did we cover all of our topics?
No, we have 2 topics left. It's fine though. I like it that people have brought questions this week.
No. We don't have to listen. We can save those topics for next time. Let's just keep rolling.
Save
it's
the
more
topics?
about the questions, the engagement, the interaction.
It is true. It's about the interaction.
You want to see the book I got for Christmas?
Please. We love books.
Well, it's an abbreviated version of one of my most favorite books.
Oh, it's not going to take you 50,000 hours to read.
This is the most awesome book. I'm telling you, now he has a.
Is it a picture book?
Yeah, it's like
I want it.
So I can just open it anywhere and look at the magic, right? Literally, just all right, boss. When you tell me when to stop.
Can you send me that version, because the other one I'm struggling with.
Tell me when to stop.
Right now.
All right.
The first principle for success is finish reading the book. What?
999 pages.
Step 4, design. So he's got this plan to get through any problem in your business. Step 4 is to design plans to get around the problem that's standing in the way of your progress. Now that is so relevant to what I'm doing in Process Moto, right?
Yeah.
So like Scott always says, what's your pain point? Like what's the first thing you outsource? What's the biggest pain that's being caused in your business, right? So design a plan to get around that problem that's standing in the way of your progress. I love it. I love this book. It's just amazing. Get the free app on your phone, everybody. It's awesome.
I would do much better with the picture book.
He's got a video like this too on YouTube. Have I sent you that video? It's a beautiful video.
No. I'll watch it though.
Anyway,
somebody says the audiobook's better than I have the audiobook. I listen to it a little bit at a time.
Principle 965.
Is it him? Is it Ray reading the book?
Yeah, it's Ray reading the book too.
Well, he has a couple guest readers that pop in here and there, but mostly him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek White says, "What's up, Land Geek guys? Hope all's well." Derek White, Happy New Year to you and your brother Jared, who
Happy New Year.
They just started coaching, which is exciting. Bob Oates just tuned in. Nice to see you, Bob. Any other wins out there? Any other last minute questions? I do have a segment I'd like to bring back.
Is it the sleepy time segment? Oh my lord, I keep yawning.
I'm gonna bring sexy
it's
back
part
here.
of the presentation where Matt yawns.
I'm gonna bring sexy back here for a minute.
One of us made 380 cold calls today, and the other one sat around looking at land. That's right.
I also read some.
I'm
reading a book a week. Bossman has got me doing a book a week.
That's right.
No chance. No chance.
I did a lot of reading today. I have my fiction book. I have my business book.
Oh, I like it. Now
you two need to get a job, both of you.
Will you go like from one chapter in one book to a chapter in another book, or you just sort of springboard like that, Scott? Yeah.
Yeah, I read like 3-4 books at a time. I got an audio book here. I got a fiction book here. I'm like all over the place.
I love it.
But
always trying to up me by one. That's good.
What a jerk.
No, but I'm reading Sales EQ right now by Jeb Blount, and I actually voxed Matt Forbes today or yesterday, and I said, why haven't I read this sooner?
I told everyone to read that book.
So that's a great book for all of you land investors out there. Sales EQ by Jeb Blount. It's a great audiobook. I'm reading the audiobook version. There it is.
There he is. That's what his signature looks like.
Oh! Aren't you special?
You want a signed copy?
Yeah?
My company works with him. He's a really cool guy. I've met him a few times. He's crazy. I'll tell you the story about him. We were at he has a sales, like Grant Cardone does like a big conference.
Yeah.
Right? So he does one with we call them the Four Horsemen, with a bunch of really, really top-notch sales guys who teach sales and write books, and all these guys. Mark Hunter and all these guys. And so anyway, we're chatting it up, and they're setting up like the room, because we're like the title sponsor, so we're in there way early. And he excuses himself from the conversation, and literally in a probably a $5,000 suit, right? Because he's getting on later that day. He is rolling tables and like showing people how he wants it done, right? And then continues to do the work. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, you're not, you must make millions because you have all these books and all this stuff, but you're actually right there doing the work. You're not just telling someone to do it, you're showing them how to do it. I'm like, cool. I will read your books because I hadn't read them at that point, but they are good. And Sales EQ is the best one, I think, by far. And if you're in sales, you need to go read Fanatical Prospecting. But it's your emotional intelligence together, Bosman.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm working on it. All right, so we got to sign off here soon. It's been almost an hour. We'll postpone the rest of the topics till next week. It's fine.
Not so bad. Yay.
But I would like to bring back a segment that we haven't done in a while. We used to do lots of segments.
Yeah.
Bringing back the segments.
It's time for the 2021
Boston Lager.
Boston Lager segment of the
I
week.
knew it.
Oh man.
It's the Boston Lager segment of the week.
back.
This is the segment where Scott Bossman spells a word correctly, and Mike Zano pronounces the word very incorrectly.
There's a lot of pressure on me here. All right, here we
And
go.
here you go, Zano. You ready?
There it is.
There it is. Here's my favorite Boston Lager word of the week. You ready?
Donkeys.
Cheetah. Never play cards with a cheetah.
Santa looks so pissed.
That's a favorite one. Okay, you ready? So here's the word of the week.
All right. Oh boy.
Cobra Kai's on this week, season 3.
Lit.
I've been
Yeah,
told I
well,
look like Johnny. Here's the word. I'm going to spell it. You ready?
Yeah.
Area.
Area?
Say it again.
Area.
Area. That's not what you said earlier during the show.
Well,
Say it how you normally say it.
well, you got to put it into a context.
Yeah.
You put it into it rolls off when you have it into a sentence.
All right, you put it in a sentence for me.
I don't know. When you mail in a new area.
Area. There it is. Area is what you said earlier tonight during the show.
No.
It sounds like it's being pronounced completely correct.
No, that's what he said. Forbes, he said it earlier. In the first 10 minutes of the show, he said area. Area.
Area. So those R's kind of go away and come back at random will.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
I want you to go back and listen. It's probably at about minute 10 and 32 seconds is when Zano said the word area. Area.
Here.
Anyway, that's the Boston Lager segment of the week. I thought it would go better than that.
That was the segment, and it fell flat on its face. But that was it, and it was good.
I mean,
Wah, 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 wah.
Chris Egner, you heard him say it earlier. You know you did. All right.
Area.
So we're doing nightcap. What night are we doing nightcap next week? Let's solidify it
Oh,
right now.
preferably
what day
not.
Is today?
Not before I have a doctor's appointment the next day. Like I
Today
do.
Thursday.
Today's Thursday, all day.
What? Wednesday the 13th, first night of flight school.
All right, Wednesday the 13th, first night of flight school. If you guys want to get into flight school, talk to me and Zano. We can get you in before next Thursday. You will be doing deals. You could be the next Steven Tancha Hokinson and do 50 deals in the next 6 months by starting flight school next week.
For sure, no joke.
No joke. And then the following week is boot camp, January 22nd to 24th, and we're gonna have boot camp. We're gonna have boot camp nightcap on the 22nd,
Is that
Boot camp
Saturday night?
nightcap.
Saturday night or Friday night?
Friday night, typically.
Nice. Yeah,
Sound good?
perfect. Yeah, I love
All
it.
right. So next Wednesday night, we'll see you guys. Bring your questions. Bring your wins, and we'll toast to you then, as we normally do.
Cheers.
Thanks, fellas.
Yeah.
Forbes,
See ya.
get some rest.
I know it's bad.
Give my love to your lovely wife.
Will do.
Yeah.
Night, boys.
Comp analysis. Comp analysis.
Up analysis.
That's one word.
So dumb. He was